Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Loving Life Freely here on YouTube. I am a full-time reseller on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari. I also resell kids' clothes on Whatnot. Love what I do. I love being here with you all. And this is our weekly reseller chat. And I have some fun topics for us to talk about, you guys. So if you're excited about what we're going to be doing this week, stay tuned. Okay guys, I always love these reseller chats. If you are brand new to my channel, I would love to say welcome to my channel. If you are a brand new reseller, I would love to say welcome to the community. So excited for your journey that you are starting. And yes, it is a journey. Whether you're selling part-time, full-time, I always say this is such a great time in life right now to be a reseller. Just because what we provide for people at a great discounted price, this is such a good time to resell clothing, goods, anything, jewelry, whatever it is you're reselling. It's just a great time right now in society to be a reseller because there are so many people looking for great prices on good quality clothing. So welcome to the community. Just to kind of give you a life update for us, we have tweaked and changed things again as we always do. I cannot believe it's April, you guys. I don't remember if I said this last week, but oh my gosh, it's April already. I don't know about y'all, but time is just flying by. I know I've said this before, but it does. It just flies by so fast. We are already a third of the way through this year. That's just crazy to me. I was watching a YouTube video this morning, and she mentioned that we're already a third of the way through the year, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's right. I've got some great topics today. Let me talk about how we are doing. So y'all know that I'm full-time, and y'all know that my husband has been helping me with the business. And we have we're kind of trying some things out. And he has been adjusting my photos for me. We're really wanting to bump up how much we sell a month. So a couple different ways we're going to attempt to do that and see if we can see a shift change in what we're selling each month. Not only is providing some nicer pieces, which y'all know has already been happening in our stores, but also trying to increase how much we're putting up a day. And I'm going to also be increasing my live sales. So we'll talk a little bit about that. First of all, he's been adjusting my photos. I've been taking the photos and he adjusts them, puts them in a draft, and then I go in and I basically create the drafts on top of what he's already done with the photos. And then I put all of the drafts together and I take them live. What we're going to start having him do is he's actually going to start taking the photos for me, adjusting the photos, putting them in the drafts. So I'm not doing photos at all. All I'm doing is going into the drafts that are started on eBay and creating the listing and then taking it live on eBay and then cross-posting it. So I'm super excited. I've been averaging on easily 10 listings a day. Sometimes I do like 12 or 15 depending on how busy my day is. I would like to easily be doing 15 listings, maybe even up to 20 listings a day. So maybe between 15 to 20 brand new listings a day. And with him doing photos, that might actually be possible. We'll see. Because I am going to also make a change that instead of just doing 3 live auctions, I actually bumped it up to 3 auctions, kids auctions a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm now actually going to start doing Monday through Friday daily auctions. Same time, 6 o'clock Central Standard Time on Whatnot. I'm super excited about this because I've really been enjoying doing kids shows on Whatnot. I have a good cog for them. I'm able to offer a great price. And it's anywhere from newborn on up to extra large for boys and girls clothes. And it's just a great opportunity for women to find great kids clothes at a great price. So instead of just doing 3 auctions a week, I'm going to start doing 5 auctions. So Monday through Friday, I won't be doing them Saturdays because I do need to have some time off for it. But basically all I'm doing is I'm showing the piece, and if people like the piece, they say run and I run it. It's been running so great. And my sales have been picking up, so I'm super excited to add 2 more sales a week. So again, I will be going live Monday through Friday, 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. So if you live on the East Coast, that will be 7 o'clock your time. If you live on the West Coast, that will be 4 o'clock your time. So if you have not yet gone on to Whatnot and created an account and you'd like to come check out our kids shows, you just go on to click on the link below, and I think it gives you like $10 or $15 off. And whether you use that in my show or other people's shows, even if you're not buying, I'd love to see you in there in the chat. So do feel free to go check that out. So we're going to be working on listing at least 15 items a day, doing more kids shows. And as y'all know, I'm just not only bringing in the lower end pieces to my store, but I've been looking at higher end pieces. And I think what I'm going to start doing on YouTube is, instead of doing like, like weekly sales every other week or something, I think what I'm going to change is once a month, I'm going to try to remember to do like my 15 most profitable pieces that sold on all my platforms, so that you can see my sales that are happening each month and get an idea. I can either do like 15 most profitable items, or do like half and half, like the 7 most profitable items and then 7 of the lower end items, so that you can see the higher end pieces that are selling and the lower end pieces are selling. I think that's what I'll do. That way you can still see sales, but we're not doing like weekly sales, because I think that there are other YouTube videos that I would also like to put out about platforms and different things on top of our reseller chat, unboxings, 90-day updates, lots of great content that I want to provide for y'all. So I think I'm going to try and do, at the end of this month, beginning of next month, I'll do 15 most profitable, 15 items that sold. I'll do like half profitable on the high end, and then some of the lower end pieces that sold also, so you guys can kind of see what things are selling for me. So that's another change that I want to make. So I'm super excited about that. Things have been good. So far our sales are doing well. I had a really, really great sale yesterday. It was my most profitable sale I have ever had as a reseller. And I'm humbled because I see other people selling items at this price bracket. I never would have imagined that that would be me. And so I'll probably include that in next month's what sold, because oh my gosh, I'm just so excited about this sale. So yeah, those are just some tweaks and changes. And again, our sales so far this month have been good. And I think in trying to increase and getting back up to at least 15 new listings a day is going to help, on top of doing more live sales and Whatnot. And also, I'm going to be plugging into a live chat on Poshmark about being a Poshmark live seller. I would like to try and dive into some Poshmark live sales, because I have some inventory that I'd like to be able to try and put on Poshmark to kind of move some other things. And so I would like to try and be involved in Posh sales. So I'm going to check into this live event and see if I can kind of kickstart that. So be able to do Whatnot sales with kids' clothes, and then maybe some Poshmark sales with men's and women's clothes of the lower end items that I have, I have like a routine that I want to try and do. So I'm going to try and try that out and see if I can get some Poshmark sales going. I'm not approved yet, and I'm hoping that this event will accomplish that. So that's another change that I'm trying to accomplish as well. Okay, so that's kind of what's going on with this. I know that was a lot. We're always trying to revamp, change things, twist things. Another thing is my husband is home full time right now, so I'm kind of hoping to get out maybe a couple times on Saturdays during the month and go actually do some sourcing. And I've also made a little bit of a change in some sourcing and how I'm doing some sourcing. And depending on how that goes, I might share that with you guys too. Just always, as a reseller, tweaking and changing to make improvements as a reseller, not only in our sales, but how we source and all that. So I'm super excited about some changes that we're making, and I'm excited to see the benefits of those changes. I would love for y'all to share in the comments down below. Tell me what tweaks and changes maybe you are making, have made recently, that have made improvements on how you're reselling, whether you're part-time or for a full-time seller. I'm super excited because we are finally getting great weather. We are in the 70s all week this week. We were in the 20s and 30s last week. So it's a change, and it actually already feels warm here. I told Dan this morning, I think we're going to have a hot summer, but I'm upstairs in my studio. My heater's been off for a day and a half, and it's comfortable up here. So we're super excited. All of our snow is gone. We actually just have beautiful days out. It's just, I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving spring. Super excited. Hope y'all are having a great spring as well. I love the fact that it's spring. We're going to be able to start sitting outside on our patio in the evenings here soon and just enjoying the evenings. We love doing that. So one of the next things that I'd love to talk about, speaking of listings, is listing daily. Now, I know some of you are part-time resellers, and I don't know what your business model is. I've been watching a YouTube channel, I'm not going to mention what it is, and some other channels where people are talking about how their sales have just not been very good this month, and they were terrible last month. I have noticed in some of the comments too on some of our videos, people are talking about how they're not getting very many sales. And my question is why? Because I follow another gal on YouTube. She sells on eBay and Poshmark, and she has really good sales. Now, I'm not going to share all of what she does because it's not up to me to talk about her business, but she's selling on Poshmark and eBay. She lists every single day. Now, she has a huge listing that she does, a listing amount that she does, because she does have a team that works with her. But even if she didn't have a team that works with her, let me say this. She lists consistently every single day a certain number. Her number is high. Again, she has a team that works with her, so she's able to list this high number. I'm not able to list as many items that she lists. But what I'm trying to get to is I do believe that listing on eBay and Poshmark and Mercari on a daily basis, brand new, fresh listings, is really important for continual sales because it kicks the algorithm, guys. And I don't think that just listing every day is important. I think that listing consistent numbers every day is important. And some people would disagree with me on this. Some people would say, well, if I list 2 items this day, 5 items that day, oh, I got 10 items in today, and then you're back down to 2 items the next day. I think that triggers the algorithm in a negative way. They're looking for consistency in these platforms. I really, especially eBay. eBay is definitely one of those platforms where if you're not listing and tweaking and changing your listings, maybe updating and changing your going in and checking if something isn't like getting a lot of interest, going in and maybe tweaking your title, maybe double checking more of those, those extra things that you can check. Maybe your items listed too high in the price range. If you're not going in and doing that on a daily basis and listing brand new items on a daily basis on eBay, your sales will be affected. I truly believe that with eBay. I do also believe that with Poshmark. I've been selling full-time now on eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari, and I have definitely noticed that all 3 of those platforms, if I am not delisting and relisting on Poshmark and Mercari, and if I'm not listing daily on those platforms, as well as eBay, I definitely notice a difference in my sales. There are different things you can do on each platform to make sure that you have consistent sales. Now, I'm not saying that your sales are going to go through the roof, but I do think that consistency is very important, and consistency, not only daily listing, but also listing around the same amount of items. So if you know that for sure you can list 5 items a day, maybe you're a part-time reseller, and you feel that only 5 listings a day is an option for you, but maybe I don't know if maybe you can only sell on one platform, you only have time to list on one platform. If you cross post, you can use a cross posting platform to do that. It's actually really easy, especially if you list on eBay first. You can cross post to Mercari and Poshmark pretty easy and be getting more sales. So if you can only do 5 listings a day, just make sure you're consistent with 5 listings every single day. If you're able to do 7, be consistent doing 7 every day. If you're able to do 10 or more, be consistent doing 10 or more every day on all of your platforms, not just the one. So I did want to put that out there because I do believe it's important. And you guys, now is a really important time to be consistent in listing your brand new listings every day, because I really believe the springtime is a great time to be selling, guys. Springtime is one of the seasons all year round where you can make really good sales. And then there is a little bit of a summer slump, but I also think it's a great time to start really vamping up for the Christmas season. You're getting your fall and winter items in there, do sales on your spring and summer items. Summer, I do think that you might see a slowness in sales, but I also think it's a great time to get sales too. And then of course, fall and winter is just a great time for selling too. So, but the one gal that I was talking about that lists a lot of items a day, even since January, she's had some really good sales January, February, and March. And she's already had a good April. She has really good sales. And I really think that one of the key factors to her good sales is she is consistent in listing every single day. And on eBay, even though they don't go into the office on Saturday and Sunday, she does have listings that are set to go live on eBay on Saturday and Sunday. So she is still listing new listings on eBay. Saturday and Sunday, they go live. So even though she's not in the office, she still has fresh listings going live Saturday and Sunday. And then I think on Poshmark, she cross-posts probably on Friday and then Monday on those platforms because they're not in the office on Saturdays and Sundays. So consistency and the number of consistency is really important. I really, really wanted to talk about that. I think that might be what's affecting a lot of people's sales is the consistency and the number inconsistency. Okay, so there's that. I want to talk about Poshmark advertising on lives. We've all seen, you know how you see on your phone app, they advertise like something, whether it's, you know, how you can do a discount. Hey, do your discount today. Or they have, today they're talking about the Posh Insider, which we're going to talk about a little bit today. Or they talk about the Posh Lives. I think it's interesting, even though Posh Lives are not having a problem with getting sales going in their lives, they think it's important to advertise Posh Lives. I just find that interesting because Posh Lives are not having a hard time selling items. I'm not saying, I don't know if Posh Lives are affecting sales because to be honest, the gal that I was just talking about, she's still having really great sales on Poshmark, you guys. Poshmark Lives are not affecting her sales. If you were to watch her YouTube videos that she does on a weekly basis on her sales, she's not having an issue making sales, and there's constantly Poshmark Lives going on. So I can't say necessarily the Poshmark Lives are affecting sales, guys. I think it's our consistency in what we're doing in our own Poshmark stores. Let's be really honest about this, because there are people making really good sales, and they're consistent in what they're doing in their Poshmark stores. Okay, but I do think it's interesting. My point to bringing that up is that Poshmark is advertising Poshmark Lives. They're really pushing it, which doesn't make sense to me because Poshmark Lives aren't having a problem selling items. I just thought I'd bring that up. It's not like a big deal, but I just thought it was interesting kind of to jokingly talk about. Okay, this is something that I mentioned last week, y'all, and I'm going to bring it up again because my husband and I were doing research on this last week, and because some other people that I've been talking to and some other research we did ourselves online about this company, we have decided, I made one purchase through this company. I mentioned it last week how I bought some office supplies from them. I bought a couple things from them. Temu. Now, we did some more research on it because my husband and I want to be very careful that we are not supporting companies that may have questionable business practices. And I actually mentioned this because another gal that I follow on YouTube mentioned them a few weeks ago. This company is actually a newer company than I thought. This company has actually only been in business for like a handful of months. And they've been advertising all over the place. But when we researched it, not only did we find out that they're a lot like Shein, where they're questionable business practices as far as their production and how they produce and where they get their inventory from. But Dan and I also found that through the Better Business Bureau, they've only been in business for a few months. And on the article that I read in the Better Business Bureau, they've already got over 30 complaints about failed packages getting to people, where people placed orders, they never got their orders, or there were issues with orders, or bad customer service. Over 30 complaints already through the Better Business Bureau, and they've only been in business for a few months. So, and also I do feel like their quality may not be so good. And again, the partner company they're working with, Dan said that there were questionable things about the practices with the partner company. So we personally are choosing not to order from them anymore. I'm going to leave it up to you what you're going to do for yourself. They're very similar, I think, to Shein. And I took the order that I had in my cart that I hadn't placed yet, and I actually canceled the order. I took the app off my phone. I'm not going to support them. I'm not going to encourage them. Again, I just want to give you guys the information that I have received and let you guys make a decision on your own based on what I gave you. So that I just wanted to bring that up, bring that to your attention. Okay. All right. This is something I want to share with y'all. You know, when you're dealing with a platform and you want customer service to be able to deal with any issues that we have as a reseller. I've never had problems with eBay. Granted, sometimes eBay doesn't always make the best choice with how they deal with like complaints and stuff. I know some people have said that they have issues with that. I haven't had a problem with eBay with that so far. Poshmark I've had a problem with. I've had issues with them agreeing with me, and I think I shared with you guys a couple weeks ago a problem that I had with the return. How even though I agreed in the live conversation between me and the customer and Poshmark that I was okay with them doing a return, Poshmark still denied them return even though I said I was okay with it. And there's also been other issues where Poshmark sides with the seller even though they shouldn't have sided with the seller. There's been issues sometimes with Poshmark customer service. And I feel like sometimes hearing back from Poshmark customer service can take a few days. eBay, I can call them up right away and talk to somebody within 2 or 3 minutes. Now, I'm going to share with you on Mercari. I had an issue with an item that usually on Mercari, if somebody doesn't rate you on Mercari, like Poshmark, within a few days, they automatically they complete the order so that you can get paid on Mercari. And I was kind of scrolling through and I noticed that something had been there for a while. I'm like, that sold a while ago. I should look at that. So I looked at it and sure enough, it had been over a month. And the item wasn't updated even though the customer didn't rate the item, which was fine. I have no problem with the fact that they didn't rate the item. The thing is that Mercari is supposed to trigger and automatically update it for you so that you can get paid for the item that you sold. So I've had other issues with Mercari or I've had thoughts on ways to improve Mercari. So you can actually send them an email and tell them and share with them either an issue or thoughts on how to improve Mercari, and they'll answer you back. And sure enough, I heard back from them the very same day. Anytime I send Mercari a concern or thoughts on how to improve their app, I always hear back from them within a day. Either, thank you, we're going to look into this, or could you provide this information? Or if it's a comment on how to improve the app, they'll say, thank you so much for your feedback on this. We really appreciate it. We're going to definitely send this into these particular teams so they can look into this and see if this is something we can accommodate. Always within a day, I hear back from them. And this issue on this item was resolved within a day. I've always had really good results hearing back from customer service from Mercari and them resolving issues usually within a day or two, depending on if I have to send them more information the next day. And then, okay, yeah, they resolve it within a day and a half or 2 days. I've always had great resolve with Mercari customer service. So if you're thinking about cross-posting on Mercari, but you've hesitated, they do have good customer service and they do listen to your feedback and help you with issues that you have on items or with customers. So I just want to share with you that I've had great feedback and interaction with Mercari customer service. I've been very pleased with them. Okay. Next thing. This is something through another gal I've mentioned her a couple times today who runs a YouTube channel, but I've also seen other people do this. They just don't call it this. She calls it factor stacking. And basically what they call factor stacking is something that other resellers also do. They just don't call it factor stacking. And this is when you find an item, for example, Old Navy. Most people don't sell Old Navy because it's one of those brands that people just don't typically like to resell because it's a kind of a cheap brand, right? However, in every single brand, if you have certain factors on a piece, what they call factor stacking, where maybe it's a plus size, or it has a certain print on it, or it's a more substantial piece. So there are certain things about Old Navy. Say, for example, if you had an extra large or another plus size in a dress that had a nice print on it, and it was a great piece for spring or maybe fall, and you can get it for a good price. Old Navy still sells, especially in extra large sizing. So I thought we would talk about that a little bit, factor stacking. Again, she calls it factor stacking. I've seen other resellers talk about basically key factors to an item that is not something that would typically sell in smaller sizes, or if it's like a plain print, a really basic t-shirt. But if it's a nicer piece and it has factors added to it, that it will definitely sell, and it could sell for a good price. That these are pieces and items that we should look at in various brands that may not sell on the lesser items, if you kind of get what I mean. Like, again, like if it's a t-shirt, tank top, something like that, or smaller sizes. But if it's a larger piece, has other factors to it, it's a good cog. Even for summer, dresses are a good thing in this type of factor stacking. A lot of dresses, they have like a nice print, or they're maxis, in like Old Navy. Knox Rose is another one where if it's a smaller size, they don't necessarily sell for as much. But if the larger pieces, like large and bigger, and they have a nice print, or they have like maybe some gathering, some smocking, and they're Knox Rose, Old Navy. I'm trying to think of some other, maybe even other Target brands, or even just other, Forever 21's another one. Some of those brands that you typically don't sell well on in other types of pieces. Sometimes that they're different pieces and have other factors to them and other sizes that are bigger, they do sell, and they can sell for nice prices and nice price ranges. So I wanted to mention that because I think sometimes in these brands we pass on items that we actually could be selling and selling for nice prices. So I thought I'd mention that. Comment down below if you know of a brand that has good factors to it. If you pick it up, that it could sell good. So I want us to learn from each other. Again, Old Navy, Knox Rose, Forever 21. I've actually sold some Forever 21 pieces in that thread up, big 200-pound thread up box. I sold a couple Forever 21 pieces that I probably never would have picked up in the thrift store, but because they had certain factors to them, they sold, and they sold for a great price. So comment down below on brands that if they have good factors, you can still sell them for good prices. I would love to hear from you all on that one. Okay? Okay, let's talk about Posh Insider. It just came out today. And let me pull this up. I actually have it pulled up. There's a couple things on Posh Insider I want to share with you guys today. Trending now is one of them, okay? You guys can actually go, I don't know if most of you probably already know, you can go in the Poshmark feed and see trends, brands, and styles that are trending each week and each month and each day. If you're new to reselling, this is one of the things you can do on Poshmark, but it's not just Poshmark. These are good trends on Mercari and eBay as well, and probably Depop too. Depop is not just a vintage platform. If you sell on Depop, you can also sell newer contemporary trends on Depop. When I was selling on Depop, I hardly sold vintage. Most of the stuff that I sold was newer and contemporary. So you can sell those items on Depop. It's not just vintage. Okay, so as we all know, bikini and swim season right now. I was selling swimwear over a month ago. I've been selling shorts, tank tops, athletic pieces for summertime. I've already been selling all that stuff for a month, and we weren't even in spring yet. So they do already sell in like February and March. So that's why when it was January, I was already listing my spring and summer pieces. I do not wait until February or March to do it. I'm selling it right after the first of the year. I'm listing it. So swimwear, they're saying bikini pieces are 14% in sales. 14% for bikini pieces. Men's flat front shorts are up 21% in sales. These are trending pieces now. Kids swim trunks are up 22%. That's huge. Kids one-piece footies are up 29%. Women's capri pants are up 13%. And then it also shows here, sorry, I didn't bring my drink up with me. Home office arts and crafts are up 21%. And that doesn't surprise me because there's a lot of moms who are home with kids and enjoy doing crafts with their kids. They've probably been looking for things to do indoors during this crazy winter season we just came out of, to do with kids. So that honestly doesn't surprise me that crafts are up 21%. That might even be going up too when it's summertime and kids are home too. Who knows? Okay. They also talked about Posh shows, which I'm not going to go into. They were just talking about what's popular, but we already know what's popular on Posh shows. Okay, another thing that they talked about. Okay, Posh Team 1 tip. Lululemon, Nike, and Free People made up almost 10% of total orders last year. That's crazy. Lululemon and Free People. Lululemon and Free People are also extremely popular on Whatnot auctions. They go through the roof in pricing. Even if you start them out at $1, which I don't ever do, they go through the roof. If you want to buy Lululemon, Free People, and those nicer brands on Whatnot auctions, you're typically not going to pay a lower price. They're going to go through the roof because people bid up on them. So that's why I like to get them when I'm doing my Poshmark live, or not I do my Whatnot lives. I actually have those types of items in my buy it now at a great price, so that those who can't afford the bid up prices on those pieces, I have them at a nice price in my buy it now on my Whatnot, so people can just go in and buy it and don't have to worry about being overbid and can't afford the bid up on them. Okay, Team Posh 2 tip. Nike sneakers, Free People leather jackets, Lululemon jackets have a 10 to 40% higher resale value than average. This was at the bottom of the Poshmark, the Posher thing. So that's what's trending right now, guys. So be on the lookout for flat front men's shorts, kids swim trunks, obviously bikini pieces, kids one pieces, capri pants for women, and I guess home and crafts was great too. So I would also list bikini one pieces because a lot of people like the bikini one pieces too. Those do sell well. I've already been selling those too. Okay, so that was the Posh Insider. Okay, I have a few more things that I wanted to talk about. Okay, we actually are kind of already talked about this. About how people are saying that their sales are slow, but there's actually other people that I follow on YouTube that are actually getting really good sales on Poshmark. We already talked about what could be making good sales. So I'm not going to worry about discussing that again. Okay, I want to talk about List Perfectly. That's actually the automation software that I use to cross-post my listings. I actually moved from a different cross-lister few months ago now, probably 2 or 3 months ago. I've been happy with List Perfectly. I'm going to stick with that. And the reason why I mention that is because I think, especially if you're wanting to list on multiple platforms to be making more sales, I think automation is important. And a reason why I want to mention automation is to delist and relist on a daily basis on Poshmark and Mercari. You can also do that on eBay. But I don't think it's quite so important on eBay. I think if you're listing consistently on eBay, have good price points on eBay, and have your information filled out on the details, I think you'll make good sales on eBay if you're consistent. Your sales will be good. But Poshmark and Mercari, I definitely think it's important to delist and relist on a daily basis. I think it helps kickstart the algorithm, having good pieces for sale, having a good price bracket also. But I think delisting and relisting on a daily basis on both the platforms is important. I think having a cross-listing platform that you can cross-list on and delist and relist on those two platforms is important too. I personally have Posh Sidekick that actually does my offers to my likers on Poshmark. And then I used to send offers out on likes on Mercari, but I've noticed that when I do that, it doesn't really, every once in a while I'll get a sale from it. But I get most of my sales either from just people straight out buying from my items, or people send me an offer on Mercari and I accept the offer and make a sale that way. So that's kind of how it works for me on Mercari. I can sit there and scroll through and send out offers. And every blue moon, somebody will accept an offer, but it takes time to do that. And most of my sales come from either just somebody outright buying the item or send me an offer and I accept the offer. So, so I did want to talk about automation for cross listing and delisting and relisting on a daily basis for Mercari and Poshmark. I do think that that is an important factor on those platforms, delisting and relisting, probably at least 10 to 20 items at least every single day. There was a topic in conversation about people talking about delisting and relisting through the algorithm, how you shouldn't do so many because Poshmark is triggering people and they're like getting mad at people for delisting and relisting. When I used to be on my old delisting and relisting platform, I was listing an average of, you could do like 10 at a time, and I was probably doing that like 10 times. And I was never triggered by Poshmark as an issue with delisting and relisting that many items. I don't do that many now because I think I was doing too many, even though Poshmark didn't trigger me. But I do think that maybe like 10 or 20 at least a day is a good number to delist and relist, depending on how many listings you have. I think maybe delisting and relisting your items once a month is good, or every other month at least, to get fresh eyes on it. I do think that that is an important factor to selling, because when you delist and relist and get it back up into the feed, people can make sales doing that when somebody likes something. I know when I've delisted and relisted, oftentimes I get likes on the item fairly quickly, and sometimes I do make sales right away, sometimes I don't, but I do think that it can actually instigate sales doing that. So I do think that that is an important factor. Okay, let's talk about one more thing for eBay, and then we'll wrap this weekly chat up. Increasing eBay selling limits. When you're starting out selling on eBay, you can only list so many items at a time. eBay is one of those platforms where you have to build up the number of listings that you can list. But a lot of people don't know, especially if you're brand new to reselling on eBay, that if you have a good number of listings up and you have already started making some sales and they see that, yeah, you're consistent, that you've made some sales, you don't have to wait for eBay to send you an email saying that we've increased your sales ability, your sales numbers that you can list. You can actually call them and ask them if they can bump up the amount of sales or amount of listings that you can do. I did that when I was first starting out a couple times before they actually gave me approval. And both times that I did it, they noticed that I was listing on a regular basis. They noticed that I was starting to make some sales, and they actually bumped up the amount that I was able to list. So you don't have to wait for them to come through and say you have approval. You can actually call them up and see if they can actually give you some more listings ability to list each month, to increase the amount that you can list each month. You can call them up and actually ask them if they can increase the amount of listings that you can do. I know sometimes they do it, sometimes they don't. It really kind of depends on how many listings you currently have and if you're making sales and if you have a consistency with your listings. I know if you're new to reselling and you're new on eBay, I didn't know that until I actually found out through other sources. So I actually called them up and said, hey, can you increase my listings? I did that a couple times. Now they've got my my number up so high that I don't have to worry about doing that. And every once in a while, I still get a notification from, hey, we've increased your listing ability. But with the number of listings that I do on a daily basis, my number's high enough now where I don't have to keep calling them and see if I can increase it, because I'm increased enough where it benefits me. So, but I just wanted to mention that if you are new to eBay and you're wanting to increase the number of listings you're doing, or maybe you're thinking about starting on eBay, I do think that consistently listing on a daily basis, if you want to increase your listing ability, is definitely very important for that aspect also. Okay, so guys, let's talk about goals this week. For my goals, obviously, I want to get to the point where we're starting our new routine tomorrow. So I want to get to the point where I'm listing at least 15 new listings a day, since Dan's going to be doing all my photos now. I'm taking them and arranging them for me. And then also, I'm going to start doing 5, like I said, whatnot lives a day now. So I'm going to do one every evening, and I'm hoping to be making more sales doing that. My sales have been picking up, so I'm hoping that that will definitely increase that, getting more consistency on there, getting more people in there. I've got more inventory coming. I've got some more unboxings coming up, guys. You don't want to miss that. So, and I've got one box coming in that I haven't purchased for a while. So stay tuned. If you are not yet subscribed to my channel and you want to see what kind of boxes we have coming in, do make sure you're subscribed so you can see those unboxings. I also have a 90-day update I'm in the process of putting together. So that's coming out probably this week too. And I do have other content, like I said, from platforms that I have brewed up going on up here that I want to be putting out for people who are kind of newer to reselling on the platforms, how to do certain things on certain platforms. If there's certain content on certain platforms, even if it's Depop or things like that, because I did used to sell on Depop, I also used to sell on Vinted. So if you have questions about that and you would like me to do a video on those platforms, eBay, Mercari, Poshmark, if you're new to those platforms, and you have questions about how to do certain things on the platforms, let me know. I'm happy to put a video out on certain content on those platforms. So that's kind of where I'm at with this week with my goals. I would love to know what your goals are this week. Again, we're already a third of the way through the year. How are your sales doing? How's your consistency in your listings doing? And tell me in the comments below too if you're a part-time or full-time reseller. Do you have a full-time job? Do you resell with a partner? Do you have a husband or wife that you resell with? Or are you doing this by yourself? So I'm kind of curious how you're doing and where things are going with you. Again, if you haven't subscribed, first of all, I would love to say thank you to those of you who have subscribed. And to those of you, even if you haven't subscribed, who've been watching our videos consistently. Thank you to you guys. My YouTube channel is growing. I always want to say thank you to you because it's due to you guys that I'm able to bring this content to you and grow this channel. So thank you so much for you guys' support. Again, if you haven't subscribed, please do hit that subscription, the bell notification, so you get a notification on all of the videos that come out. Guys, I'm super excited about sharing this reseller this week with you. I always love seeing your comments down below. You guys have been talking about some of the brands I was talking about in unboxing this week. Thank you so much to all of you who leave feedback and comments and interaction. I love it. And guys, I'll see you in the next video. Take care.